number 1 in a new matchup between these two guys, but the same TVZ. God, I feel like we've been casting TVZ all freaking day, and yet I have no complaints. All right, name's been scooched up and moved over. You know what? Let's put him next to that barcode. I made that joke. Let's just make it happen. There we go. It's in innovation. I could do that for the intros. All right, bottom right side, playing for France, ladies and gentlemen. It's the most creative Zerg player. I love him. It's Denver. And his opponent to the top left, the Red Terran from Korea. It's innovation. Now, as I mentioned before, I don't know that Denver winning this series could save him in the group. He's currently 4th from last with a score of 3-3. I'm looking at this. Actually, I just don't think it's possible. I legitimately don't think it's possible for Denver to get out of this group, even if he wins this 2-0. So with Denver being out, this is just more about innovation, getting score and placement for the next round. We'll see where he places for that. But absolutely, I think we'll see Denver still try, very much similar to sort of. One part of this is just pride, not wanting to keel over to innovation and not give it your best shot. You know, you're faced with one of the best players in the world. You respect it by playing the best you can. But then also, it is that good practice. Here you are. It's the new patch. There's new things to experiment with. You know your tournament's already over. So why not take this opportunity to learn and be better for the next time? I mean, we should be clear about this, though, because some people are still confused. This patch is not presently live. This patch is being played on a modified mod, something dependency. Look, I don't know the details, but the point is it's been set up for Homestory Cup specifically. But this patch, all these games you're watching, this is kind of a preview of what will come with a lot of these changes. And I think what I've really enjoyed so far, none of these changes have been so drastic that I'm like, great, this breaks StarCraft. These changes have actually been pretty mild and good enough to change up the game without breaking it. The one thing I'm most interested about, though, and I've been thinking a lot about this since we saw the Nidus Worm earlier, right? One of the big changes for Zerg and the Nidus Worm is the Nidus Worm now has a 14-second cooldown that starts as soon as you start building it. And I realize now that basically if a Nidus Worm goes finished and unkilled, it doesn't really change the dynamic of the current Nidus Worm as we know it. But if the Nidus Worm is killed immediately, that's where it hurts the Zerg player a little bit more, because they will have to wait the remaining 10 or whatever seconds are left to place down another one. And not to mention the cost of the Nidus Worm exits are now 75-75 instead of 50-50. So I would be surprised if we saw a lot of Nidus Worm usage this tournament. We haven't seen hardly any at all. In fact, lurkers have really been the big comeback tool for these players. And I really like seeing lurkers too. Oh man, these buildings look so good. Hellions rallied forward. I mean, we did just watch Innovation play a different player in TVZ. I gotta imagine his strategy will be somewhat the same. Probably gonna see Banshees again too as a nice little feeler to see what Denver's capable of for the defense. Nidus should be removed. I don't believe the Nidus Worm should be removed. I do like the way it was tweaked though. It's no longer as broken, because I think it really was ridiculous. You had this unstoppable, almost instant mass recall with the way you could unload and load units up and place it anywhere on the map at just rapid, insane paces. Now I think it's a little bit more tame. Also, I really hope, like my fingers are crossed tomorrow, I want to very specifically try and catch some Protoss players, because I want to see the new Mothership. I want to see the new Time Warp. I want to see the new Void Ray. I want to see more of these new charge lots. I want to see what the Protoss players have to offer. I'm a little sad that, you know, with the group... Oh, hold on. Innovation's going to dive in for this? I don't know that I agree with this move. Like, he kind of realizes it might have been a mistake too and starts withdrawing. Somehow, some way, doesn't lose any of the Hellions. What a wild experience that was. But I want to see more Protoss players take advantage of the new patch things. Mana is obviously doing very well in his group today. Parting did okay. Trap finished second place in the first group. I didn't get to see any of those games, so I don't really know what Protoss is looking like. But it's looking pretty good based on the results. Care to cover some of the toss changes? You know what, dude? Exclamation mark patch notes in the chat. It would take me a long time to cover all the patch changes for Protoss, because they did change quite a bit. Oh, you want the Nidus Storm removed because you're bad at defending it. You know what? Then that's fair. If you're trying to like objectively remove the Nighted Swarm, I say no. But if you're trying to remove it because you lose to it, I understand that feeling, man. I've been in the very same situation. In fact, I still say Vipers. I don't know which designer at Blizzard came up with the Viper, but absolutely to you, sir, I say you, because those Vipers, look at the range. Let's give them Duck the biggest range in the world that nobody can zone out. It's absolute bullshit. Sorry. Deep breaths. I've got some trigger points in Starcraft, and that's one of them. Who invented the Diablo 3 Act bugs? Oh my god, you know what? The guy who invented the Diablo 3 Act 2 bugs that spew out like 100 little bugs, that's probably the same guy who invented the fucking Viper. I hate storms, remove them. Okay, you know what? Let's get it out of our systems together. Let's collectively get this out of our system. If you could remove one thing from StarCraft 2 because it screws you over or you think it's unbalanced, what would that one thing be? Sir, this is a Wendy's. No, you can't just say Zerg, okay? That's way too widespread. I agree, but you can't just say Zerg. We're talking like, okay, you want to remove Storm, you want to remove EMP, you want to remove nukes or carriers. Get it out of your system. Let's balance wine together very briefly, and then we'll bring it back together, okay? Swarm host, nukes, Protoss, cannon, Storm, Queens, you. Oh, come on. Huge titty wampus. Tough titty wampus. Man, I love Final Space. We have 4 banlings loaded into this Overlord waiting to go in. The timing on this is going to be really nice for Denver because Innovation has just picked up and left his base, and Denver sees that with the Zergling here, and that's probably going to let him know it's safe to go in and do a bit of a carpet bomb run. Oh, he's actually going to catch this drop straight out in the open. That's really nice. But still no movement out of the Overlord. Kind of keep an eye on that here for the mini-map as we watch Innovation withdraw. Nerfing Queens. You know what? I agree. Queens are so good in this game. They have insane health. They're not an armored type of unit, so they take no bonus damage from anything except Archons. Then they have the ability to transfuse. They've got more range than a motherfucking Tempest. Like, yeah, let's get rid of them. Anyways, that was a great drop out of Denver. That was poised and ready, and Innovation absolutely got caught off guard by that. So, I just realized I got to remove the text. Sorry about that, guys. That's been fixed. A really nice economic hit. Now Denver's sitting on 78 workers to Innovation's 59. I don't think Innovation is taking a casual approach to this, by the way. That was just a really nice, very patient Overlord that paid off well against a good player. I'm really sad to see these results too. I've said it before and I really got to state it again. So many of these results are not reflective of the skill player for these players. Take TV just managed to fly in like 32 math. Yeah, 32 of like the best players in the world. And unfortunately, some players are being made to look way worse than the others. And it's not because they're bad. It's just great versus good. The hell with my opponents. Anyone that faces me should only get 1 HP and 1 shield point. Yeah, but you know what I would do? If that was me in that situation, Monty, I would just build like 1,000 Widow Mines and nothing else. You know how awful that would be to deal with? Even if you one-shot them, they're still going to get their payloads off half the time. I am so mad right now, Riff. The Longboy Mount and WoW's being removed for no reason. Oh, yeah, like a mass extinction event or something, right? Oh, my God. Round 2 of the banlings for Denver. I gotta stop reading chat so we watch these a little bit better, but that we caught the tail end of it, which works, and that is now a grand total of 24 SCVs killed through some very cost-efficient banling drops. I'm not sure why this is a weak point for Innovation. Maybe he just is a little complacent about seeing all the creep and the Overlords on the map, but guys, we gotta give some props to our boy Denver here. He's pulling off some great moves against Innovation, and they're absolutely working. Okay, so Matthew, you want to fight against me if my Widow Mines have 1 health, 1 shield, and glitch 99% of the time? That sounds like a fair fight. He still has 70 SCVs? Question mark? Exclamation mark? Yeah, but that's really digging into his army supply. And I don't mean because he's spending money on SCVs. Innovation, if you recall with the series versus sort of prior to this, he was really overwhelming in army supply. We had pushes that were like 120 supply to 90 supply type thing. Innovation doesn't have the supply advantage right now because so much of this money is being funneled back into building workers, which, by the way, he kind of needs to do. It'll help get him more money so he can spend more money later on. Finally, a bit of pressure on the other side of the map. He gets to put something on Denver for the cost of all those SCVs, but 2 alone is not going to be worth it. Hive Tech's done as well, and that Medevac's likely not going to get out of here if those Vipers get on top of it, but the Vipers are not chasing, so it'll be okay. Broodlord's on the way. Greater Spire starts up as we speak. Denver, by the way, look at the resources lost, right? He's definitely losing out, quote unquote, here to Innovation in that regard. But the cost efficiency of this is way better than what the resources lost reflects. He's not had to invest in really expensive, crazy units. It's mostly been Lings and Banelings, and almost, not all, but almost all of them have gotten decent trades at this point. It just costs more because he's burning more gas than Innovation's burning. Now this isn't so good. That's an awkward mistake. Clean your act up, Denver. But Vipers are out now. Blinding Clouds are going to hit. Those tanks won't really be that effective, and that's where I think we're going to see a flood come in and maybe just overwhelm. This is not a planetary after all. These Vipers have plenty of energy to get a lot of abducts off if they choose, or just Blinding Cloud. But the abducts on the Medevacs, bringing them in a little too much all at once. If you do, actually, we used to see this problem with Colossus all the time. Zerg players would like over abduct the Colossus, and then there wouldn't be enough DPS to split between 5 of them, whereas they would have been able to focus one down, no problem. But Denver going in, I don't know about this. I don't know what's going on here. That was a bad move on his part. That was a terrible throw of a fight. I don't know why or what, but that went so poorly for him, and he didn't quite clean up at home in time, so he lost out on 2 fronts. Denver had a pretty nice lead. Now he's in a weird spot. Oh my god, Loba, thank you for the 51 months, man. Moo. Wait, I got you. Hold up. Ghosts are coming out, though, for Innovation, so he will have the late game tools to contest those Broodlords. Snipes are going to be huge for that. Not to mention, EMP landing on the Vipers could also be really beneficial in some clutch situations, but so Banelings out here going to get caught. These are most of Denver's Banelings at the moment, actually, so losing these for not a great trade. And all that gas, you know, he doesn't want to be spending this making 100 more Banelings. He wants to be spending this gas getting his tier 3 units out. That was a sexy move for some reason.
Yeah, baby.
That voice makes me so uncomfortable. I don't like it. All right, 2 different attacks set up. Top right and bottom middle left. That tank spread is sexy, but without support for the tanks, they get absolutely demolished. Banelings go through to the mineral lines. Planetary Fortress not going to be the aim of the attack, just a hit and run here, and that's totally fine as Denver's starting to run out of forces on the front lines. But he's remaking 66 Zerglings behind this. Base Straight TV, did the Game Heart overlay get an update? Yes, I'm using a new version created by Ollie, who's been hanging out in chat today. You'll notice the worker kill count is popping, and I love it. It's my favorite thing. I didn't think I'd care much for it, but I really like it. One of the other big changes they made to it is the resources, or the units lost now shows the buildings lost too, and the resources lost, so it's all in one tab instead of 2 different ones. It's nice. But you guys gotta stop talking about how good Game Heart looks, because it makes me compliment Ollie, which in turn is gonna float his ego. We can't afford to have him have an ego. All artists must be humble, okay? We know this. Oh yeah, and the colors too for the health things in the top production tab. Planetary Fortress, it goes down, not so surprising. Some snipes going to the Hydras, not so necessary. But Denver's been playing this in a very Rogue-esque style, and I don't mean that he's like a wild card here, but Rogue would do this a lot of the time we'd cast him. Just a lot of Banelings and Lings as his composition. Still though, we're on Hive Tech, and so far all that's really been used for is upgrades on 3-3. The Broodlords are like at the ready. I'm not sure why not pull the trigger, but I think there's a fair amount of Vikings in the sky at the moment. Maybe he wants to remove those first. Shout out to Denver from Denver, Colorado. Yeah, Denver's it's the state. He's the last dinosaur. He's a French Starcraft player. Denver's a good name. You know, it's crazy. We look at these losses, and it's not looking really worthwhile for Denver to throw units away like this. But you really got to consider Innovation's income has been destroyed through the top and through the bottom. He's kind of relying on these mostly empty mineral bases. So Denver, actually, funny enough, has really been able to afford throwing away units like this. Much like the Shopify CEO can throw away a bunch of money at Homestory Cup. But no, in all seriousness, that is as jokingly of a reference as this. It's a very good way to draw the dynamic of how this is going down. Denver's just been getting so much money. He has so much more he can afford to throw away, and it doesn't hurt him as badly. For Innovation, if Innovation were to lose 10,000 resources worth of units, that's lasting damage. For Denver, that's a quick remax. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in so long. Planetary Fortress goes down. I don't think there's building armor. No, yeah, there's no building armor. Been a huge influence into this. Oh, these Hydras getting picked off. Trying to fight a Liberator a little bit fruitlessly. Banling's hit this base too. Two bases go down simultaneously here for Innovation. And Denver once again throws away 2 armies, but easily destroying the income of his opponent in the process. Innovation now down to 46 workers. The 90 drones still hold strong. He has a whole base he can still saturate, by the way. Innovation gonna go for a last ditch effort here. Infestors get hit. Oh my god, I didn't even think about this. You know what? The new Infestor ability that's not been researched would be really good against Liberators. It would cut their damage down by 50%, meaning it takes away like 45 damage from the Liberator. In fact, that's something I want to see Denver of all people utilize, but hold on. Might not be given the opportunity. This is like a last-ditch move. Innovation doesn't have a game behind this. If Denver can clean this up, he's going to take the game. Another Parasitic Bomb attempts to go in, but I think it was a little bit shy on energy, so that Viking, or that Liberator still stands. Denver has all these other bases to come in from, but the problem is his reinforcements will never come in together. They're always going to be split between several different bases, so you see rallies here through things like the Liberation Zones, and that's not good. What's he trying to do with the Infestors? I don't even know. No Microbial Shroud? He's bleeding out. Oh my god, Denver's actually bleeding out. Unless he consolidates his forces. Yeah, now he's starting to rally to the top right. GG's nonetheless. Innovation pulls out a victory. Absolutely no f***ing way. GG. Oh man. What a surprising win. But I want to be clear about this. If Innovation had come down from a different angle, like a big part of why Innovation was able to root himself down there, well, there's 2 things really. Denver made some bad moves, like with the Infestors and stuff. In the past, Infestors had infested Terrans, but those have been removed in the patch. There are no more infested Terrans in the game. But also, a lot of that had to do with the positioning. Innovation was right in the heart of where every single base could rally to. So every time Denver tried to rally a unit anywhere to fight, it would come in 2 or 3 at a time and get destroyed by what Innovation had to fight with. If Innovation had taken that same fight but went from top down instead of straight to the middle of Denver's bases, I don't think Innovation would have actually won that. So positioning there was absolutely key.